My parents went to Europe for a month, left me with $20 at age 11. When they returned, I made sure they regretted it. I was 11 years old that summer. Everything changed. Looking back now at 29, I can see all the warning signs I missed as a kid, desperately trying to believe my parents were normal. We lived in a quiet suburb outside Phoenix, Arizona. From the outside, we looked like the perfect family. My parents, Victoria and Gabriel, both worked in real estate, drove BMWs, took trips to Cabo and the Bahamas. My best friend, Leah, always said I was lucky. But Leah didn't see what happened behind our Spanish-style terracotta door. She didn't see how I'd learned to make grilled cheese at age 6 because dinner wasn't guaranteed. How I'd ride my bike to school alone starting in 2nd grade because my parents couldn't be bothered with the pickup line. How I taught myself to separate colors from whites at 8 because I ran out of clean uniforms and my mom said she was too overwhelmed. Figure it out, Maya. You're smart, was my mom's favorite phrase. My neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, noticed things before anyone else. She lived next door with her husband and their son, Carlos, who was in my grade at Desert Springs Elementary. Mrs. Rodriguez was always outside tending her roses or walking their golden retriever, Sunny, and she paid attention. Maya, honey, you biking to school again? She asked one morning in March when I was in 5th grade. Yeah, my parents had an early showing. It's supposed to hit 95 today. Let me drive you and Carlos. That's okay. I have my water bottle. I insist. Come on. In her cool car with the AC blasting and oldies playing softly, while Carlos talked about our social studies project, I felt something I couldn't name. Later, I realized it was what being cared for actually felt like. My teacher, Mr. Washington, started noticing things too. I'd fall asleep during afternoon lessons sometimes, not from laziness, but from being up late worrying about whether my parents had paid the water bill or if we'd have running water when I got home from school. Maya, can you stay after class? Mr. Washington asked one Thursday in April. I packed my backpack slowly while everyone else rushed out to recess. My stomach twisted with anxiety. Was I in trouble? You're not in trouble, he said, reading my face. I'm worried about you. You seem exhausted all the time. Is everything all right at home? Everything's fine. Are your parents doing okay? Are you eating enough? Getting enough sleep? Yeah, I'm just staying up watching videos too late. I'm fine, really. He studied me with concerned grey eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. My door is always open if you need anything. And I mean anything, Maya. I nodded, but I never took him up on it. What would I say? My parents weren't hitting me. They weren't yelling. They just existed in their own world where I was more like a houseplant than a daughter, requiring occasional watering but otherwise ignorable. My dad's brother, Uncle Thomas, called sometimes. He lived in Seattle and rarely visited because my parents always had an excuse for why it wasn't a good time. Hi, Maya Bear. How's my favorite niece? Uncle Thomas's warm voice came through the phone one Sunday when I answered. I'm your only niece. Details, details. How's 5th grade treating you? It's okay. We are reading Bridge to Terabithia in class. Oh, that's a beautiful book. Are your parents around? They went to look at some waterfront properties. Pause. They left you alone. I'm 11. I'm fine. Well, tell them I called. And Maya, you can always call me if you need anything, day or night. You have my number, right? Yeah, Uncle Thomas. Thanks. After we hung up, I sat in the empty house and wondered what it would be like to have parents who actually wanted to be around me. Parents who asked about my day, who knew the names of my teachers, who showed up to the spring talent show. I'd performed a magic trick I'd been practicing for weeks, and they'd both forgotten about it completely. Then came early May, 2 weeks before summer vacation started. I was doing homework at the kitchen table when my parents walked in together, which was unusual. They typically came home at different times and ate takeout separately while checking their phones. "Maya, we need to talk," my mom said, and they both sat down across from me. My heart hammered. Were they getting divorced? Moving? Sending me to summer camp? "We've been working really hard this year," my dad started. "Both of us have been under tremendous pressure." "Your father closed 3 commercial properties this quarter," my mom added. "We've decided to use his commission for something we've always dreamed about." "We are going to Europe," my dad said, grinning. "The Grand Tour. London, Paris, Venice, Barcelona. 5-star hotels, Michelin-starred restaurants, the works." "That sounds great," I said. "When?" "We leave May 20th, my mom said. "Right after your school ends." "For how long?" "A month. 30 glorious days." My mom's eyes sparkled with excitement I'd never seen directed at me. My mouth went dry. "What about me?" "What about you?" my dad asked, genuinely confused. "Where will I stay?" "Here, obviously. This is your home, Maya." I stared at them. "You're leaving me alone for a month?" "You're almost 12, my mom said. "You're incredibly mature for your age. You can handle it." "But I'm 11. I'm not even old enough to stay home alone legally for." "Don't be dramatic," my dad interrupted. "Legally, it's fine in Arizona as long as you're capable and we leave provisions, which we will." "What kind of provisions?" "Money for food. The bills are all paid up. Mrs. Rodriguez is right next door if there's an emergency, which there won't be." "How much money?" My dad pulled out his wallet and placed a $20 bill on the table like he was presenting treasure. I looked at the 20. "That's it." "That's plenty," my mom said. "There's food in the house. Spaghetti, ramen, canned beans. You know how to cook basic meals. $20 is more than enough for extras for a whole month." "Maya, you're being difficult." My mom snapped. "Do you know how many people never get to see Europe? We've worked our entire lives for this. We deserve it." "What if something happens to me?" "Like what?" my dad asked, annoyed. "The house is safe. You know not to open the door for strangers. You're not a baby." "Can I at least stay with Leah's family?" "We are not imposing on other people," my mom said firmly. "Besides, her parents would judge us." "No, you're staying here. End of discussion." That was it. Decision made. My opinion irrelevant. The next 2 weeks crawled by. I told Leah my parents were going on a trip, but lied and said my uncle was staying with me. I told Carlos the same thing. The shame of the truth was too heavy. Mr. Washington assigned summer reading lists on the last day of school. "Have a wonderful summer, everyone. Stay safe and keep reading." I wondered if I would be safe. 11 years old, alone for 30 days. May 20th arrived. My parents' lift came at 4:30 in the morning. I heard them loading designer luggage into the trunk. My mom poked her head into my room where I was pretending to sleep. "Bye, sweetie. Be responsible. Don't burn the house down. We'll send you pictures on WhatsApp." Then the door closed. The car drove away. Silence. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, my chest tight with panic. This was real. This was actually happening. The first few days weren't terrible. School was out so I could sleep in. I made myself breakfast, cereal and Pop-Tarts. I watched Netflix. I read books from the library. The house felt massive and empty, every creak and noise making me jump. I inventoried the food on day 2. The pantry held 2 boxes of spaghetti, a bag of rice, 3 cans of black beans, a jar of peanut butter, and some stale tortilla chips. The fridge contained milk that would expire in 5 days, a wilted head of lettuce, expired cream cheese, 2 hard seltzers, and condiments. I did math in my head. If I was careful, I could make it work. Leah texted on day 3. Want to go to Splash Kingdom Saturday? Can't. No money. Ask your uncle for some. He's being strict about spending. That sucks. Maybe next week? Maybe. I made spaghetti with butter for dinner that night, sitting alone at the kitchen table. The $20 bill sat on the counter untouched. I was saving it for when I really ran out of food. By day 6, I'd finished the milk and was rationing the peanut butter. I made plain rice for dinner. No butter, no sauce, no seasoning. Just white rice. My stomach hurt, but I didn't know if it was from hunger or anxiety or loneliness. On day 7, Mrs. Rodriguez knocked on the door while I was reading on the front porch. It was late afternoon and I was dizzy from skipping lunch. Hi, Maya. Beautiful day, isn't it? Yeah. Where are your parents? I haven't seen them in over a week. They're traveling. Oh, nice. Where? Europe. How wonderful. Who's staying with you? I hesitated too long. Mrs. Rodriguez's smile faded. Maya, who is staying with you? Nobody. But I'm fine. I'm almost 12. You're home alone? For how long? They've been gone 7 days. When are they coming back? 3 more weeks. Mrs. Rodriguez's face went through several expressions: shock, disbelief, anger. A month? They left you alone for a month. I'm okay. Really. Did they leave you money? Food? I didn't want to answer. Mrs. Rodriguez came inside without asking, went straight to the pantry, and opened it. She stared at the nearly empty shelves. Maya, how much money did they leave you? $20. Show me. I got the 20 from the counter. Mrs. Rodriguez looked at it like it was something toxic. $20 for a month. For an 11-year-old child. Her voice shook. Have you spent any of it yet? No. I'm saving it for when I run out of food. When you run, Maya, you've already run out of food. What did you eat today? Rice. Just rice. I nodded. Yesterday. Spaghetti. What else? Just spaghetti. Mrs. Rodriguez pulled out her phone. You're eating at my house tonight and every night until your parents come home. No arguments. I don't want to be a burden. You're not a burden. You're a child whose parents abandoned her. Come on. That evening, I sat at the Rodriguez table and ate real food for the first time in over a week. Chicken enchiladas, Spanish rice, refried beans, fresh salad. I tried not to cry while I ate, but Mrs. Rodriguez saw. After dinner, Mrs. Rodriguez called Mr. Rodriguez into their bedroom. I could hear their raised voices through the wall. This is neglect, Daniel. This is actual child neglect. Are you sure she's not exaggerating? Maybe there's family checking on her. I went through their pantry. She's been eating plain pasta and rice. She has $20 for a month. $20. We need to call someone. I'm calling Aaron Washington first. He's Maya's teacher. Then we are calling CPS. I sat on their couch, numb. CPS meant Child Protective Services. I knew that much from TV. Would I go to foster care? Would my parents go to jail? Mr. Washington arrived within an hour. Mrs. Rodriguez must have made it sound urgent. My teacher sat next to me on the couch, his face serious. Maya, Mrs. Rodriguez told me what's happening. I need you to be completely honest with me. How long have your parents been gone? 7 days. When are they coming back? 23 more days. Did they leave you with adult supervision? No. Did they leave you adequate food and money? I shook my head, and then I started crying. Real crying. The kind that comes from deep inside where you've been holding everything together for too long. Mr. Washington hugged me while I sobbed. You're safe now, he whispered. We're going to fix this. The next morning, Mrs. Rodriguez called Child Protective Services. A caseworker named Sandra arrived that afternoon, a no-nonsense woman with short brown hair and kind eyes who had clearly seen everything. Sandra interviewed me privately in the Rodriguez living room. She asked detailed questions and took notes. Have your parents ever left you alone before? Overnight sometimes. A weekend once. But never this long. Do you have other family? My Uncle Thomas. My dad's brother. He lives in Seattle. When was the last time you saw him? 2 years ago. My parents don't like him visiting. They say he's too opinionated. Sandra wrote that down. Do you feel safe in your home? I don't feel unsafe. I just feel forgotten. That's a very insightful answer, Maya. She photographed the empty pantry, documented everything, and called my Uncle Thomas while I sat there. I could hear my uncle's voice rising on the other end. They did what? I'm flying down right now. Today. I'll be there by tonight. Uncle Thomas arrived at 7 p.m., bursting through the Rodriguez door and pulling me into a fierce hug. He smelled like pine and felt solid and real in a way my parents never had. I'm so sorry, my bear. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. I should have checked on you more. I knew Victoria and Gabriel were selfish, but this, he pulled back to look at me. You're never going back to living like this. Never. Sandra explained the process. We are filing an emergency custody petition. Given that Maya has a willing relative who wants guardianship, we are likely to get temporary placement with you, Thomas. But there will be a court hearing when the parents return. Good, Uncle Thomas said grimly. I want them to face what they've done. For the next 3 weeks, I lived with Uncle Thomas in a hotel near my house. He'd taken emergency leave from his job as a software engineer to stay with me. Every day felt surreal, eating regular meals, having someone ask about my day, feeling like I mattered. Mrs. Rodriguez and Mr. Washington gathered evidence. Photos of the empty pantry. Statements from Leah about my lies about having supervision. My school records showing my fatigue and distraction. Testimony from other neighbors about seeing me alone constantly. My parents returned on June 19th, tanned and glowing, full of stories about Big Ben and the Eiffel Tower. They walked into the house expecting to find me there. Instead, they found Uncle Thomas. Where's Maya? My mom demanded. Somewhere safe, which is more than you provided for her. My dad looked confused. What are you talking about, Thomas? There was a knock at the door. My mom answered it to find Mrs. Rodriguez, arms crossed, face furious. Can I help you? My mom asked coldly. Can you help me? Can you help Emmy? Mrs. Rodriguez's voice shook with rage. You left your 11-year-old daughter alone for a month with $20. Mrs. Rodriguez, you're overreacting. Maya's very mature for her age. Mature? She was eating spaghetti with butter for 2 weeks straight. She ran out of food. My dad came to the door. We gave her money. $20 for a month. What is wrong with you? This is none of your business, my mom said icily. I made it my business when I started feeding your starving child. She's been eating at my house for 3 weeks because she had no food. We left plenty of food. You left expired cream cheese and 3 cans of beans for 30 days. Mr. Rodriguez appeared behind his wife. We've contacted Child Protective Services. They've already filed emergency custody paperwork. There's a court hearing in 2 days. My parents' faces went white. You had no right to interfere. We had every right. You neglected your child. That's illegal. That's criminal. My parents slammed the door. Through the walls, I could hear the screaming match from the hotel room where Uncle Thomas and I were staying nearby. The court hearing was surreal. I sat with Sandra while a judge listened to testimony. Mrs. Rodriguez spoke first, describing finding me alone and malnourished. Mr. Washington testified about my exhaustion and distraction during the school year, patterns he now understood. Mr. Rodriguez presented his documentation, photos, dates, receipts from feeding me. My parents' lawyer tried to argue that I'd been fine, that I was fed by neighbors, that it was an error in judgment but no real harm occurred. The judge cut him off. No real harm? She's an 11-year-old child who was abandoned for 30 days with $20 and inadequate food. The only reason she didn't suffer more serious harm is because neighbors intervened. He turned to my parents. You prioritized a luxury vacation over your daughter's basic needs. You didn't arrange supervision. You didn't ensure adequate food or money. You didn't even call to check on her. We sent her photos, my mom said weakly. On WhatsApp. Photos. The judge looked disgusted. I'm granting temporary full custody to Thomas Harper pending final hearing in 90 days. You will have supervised visitation only if Maya chooses to see you. My parents tried to protest. The judge shut them down. Over the next 3 months, the full case built. Financial records showed my parents had spent $9,000 on their European vacation. They'd stayed in luxury hotels, eaten at Michelin-starred restaurants, bought designer clothes and jewelry. $9,000 while leaving their daughter with 20. Their friends started distancing themselves when word spread. My mom lost a major client after they learned about the case, something about reputation concerns. My dad's brother wouldn't speak to him. The final custody hearing happened in September. The judge reviewed everything and made his ruling permanent. Full custody to Thomas Harper. Victoria and Gabriel will pay child support and cover all legal fees. Visitation will remain supervised unless Maya requests otherwise. I never requested otherwise. So, here's my question for you. If your parents reached out after years of silence with apologies and claims they've changed, would you give them a second chance?